I feel like a literal island. An island that is just drifting away from the mainland. And by mainland, I mean people. As I've been approaching my 40s, there has been like a series of events and series of factors that meant that as I am here now, my social circle has declined significantly.
Welcome to Manners with Highlights Daily. This is not a diss video. I repeat, this is not a diss video. What this woman is talking about in this video is a legitimate concern for many people in the world. In this digital age, we will see more and more people coming to the internet to share their thoughts.
Let's talk about not having children at the age of 40 plus. I am 41, married and have no kids, and I wanted to present a perspective that is a little different to what you would ordinarily hear circulating on the internet. In fact, I haven't really heard anyone talk about these issues in the way that I think about them. It is either going to be a series of unpopular opinions or you will really relate to what I'm saying.
This is a great addition to our previous video about Chinese women traveling to the US to freeze their eggs, even though only 16% of women who freeze their eggs actually return to use them. This woman goes into some of the challenges childless women in their 40s may face. Let's talk about it.
Now it's time for us to get into this and do what we gotta do. Because we many.
I want to focus on how I feel either during day-to-day interactions with people whereby the subject may come up, or how it affects my relationships with friends and family. Okay, so let's get into it. Number one for me is you can feel invisible. Invisible because the conversations with your friends will eventually sway towards the children naturally, and no matter how much you try to relate, advise, understand, you will never understand. You will never understand. Invisible because you are always the one that compromises and adapts their plans, because you're competing with school holidays, co-parenting schedules. I mean, how can you possibly compete with that?
She's using the word compete. I want you to keep this in mind. Let's continue.
You cannot. Invisible because your friends don't have capacity for you. You have the time, they don't. You want to talk, they have shit to deal with their children. They cannot prioritize you ever, and rightly so. Invisible because the in-laws will decide to go to the other side for Christmas to spend time with their grandchildren. And can you blame them? Invisible because the way you're building your life or the things you're focusing on are often treated as unimportant or trivial or materialistic.
Invisible is a word primarily used by women, even though men are practically invisible by default. Child-free or not, women not only want to be seen, but need to be seen, especially when they were the center of attention in their prime. We men learn early in our lives that we do not have the luxury of receiving an abundance of free attention. Now, getting back to the word compete. Competition is the foundation of a lot of the relationship problems we have today. We made a video called "Modern Women Are Not Here to Cooperate with You." This isn't just about men, it also applies to women. Women are competing with each other on all fronts, and the motives are selfish. So the issue here is not necessarily that women can't relate. The issue might be that they do not want to cooperate. If your friends have kids, why not embrace the role of an auntie? Instead of competing for your friend's time, why not contribute to it? You could build a stronger relationship with your friends by spending time with them and supporting them with their kids. Relationships are built through a shared sense of purpose, and by helping out, you can better relate to what your friends are going through while deepening your connection with them. In the past, family was the foundation that kept people connected and supported. It was the reason why people didn't feel as lonely as they do today. Family provided a sense of belonging, a network of relationships that offered emotional security and a shared purpose. But with the rise of individualism, we've seen a growing disconnect between people. The emphasis on self-reliance and personal achievement has led many to prioritize careers and personal goals over family and community. As a result, loneliness is at an all-time high. Both Chinese women who chose to freeze their eggs left their hometowns and families behind to pursue life in the big city, only to find themselves struggling to form deeper connections. Take a look at this.
Reason number 2 why I'm an island, and that is, as you can probably tell, I'm a foreigner living in the UK. I've left my home country, Poland, about 20 years ago now, so that automatically removes the entire component of social circle made out of your family, your early school friends, your childhood friends, and so on. Although I know it's probably quite a rarity for people to remain friends for a lifetime. Maybe not. I don't know. You tell me.
She didn't just leave her hometown, she left the entire country. She put herself in this position. Modern women are free to do whatever they want, but much of the damage they suffer is self-inflicted. When you watch our videos, you'll see a pattern of women not leading with value, not giving before expecting something in return. We expose the sense of entitlement that comes with expecting the world without contributing to it. Good relationships have never been a one-way street. The phrase, "What do you bring to the table?" really means, what do you bring to the relationship? These women are acting selfishly. These Chinese women are freezing their eggs for selfish reasons. It's pure cope. They don't care about what men find desirable or prefer in a woman. They don't care about what's good for the family or community. This selfish behavior is a recipe for disaster.
Then you constantly justify yourself. You justify your life and the choices you've made, including justifying not having kids. When you randomly get a question of why don't you have kids, do you want to have kids, you grapple with how the hell to answer this question. The real reason is it is a cocktail of factors including psychological, physical, economical, environmental. If you say no, you have to justify it. If you say yes, you have to justify why don't you have children yet. And what if you genuinely don't know? What if you haven't processed all the shit you went through in the past? Which means the desire to have a kid hasn't even awakened yet. And quite frankly, it is late. And I honestly don't think the people that randomly ask these questions, and again, they may have all the best intentions when they do, I don't think they would really want to hear the real answer. Because if you do, you better sit down, because it's gonna get dark. But there are also other things that you feel you have to justify. You have to justify the fact that you are actually busy, because you are. You have 2 jobs, you run a side hustle, you have legal and financial problems that may be life-changing for you, but nothing gets noticed and nothing can be matched. And in reality, it probably can't, because the same issues can also be faced by those with children. You've lost.
This is what women wanted. They asked for this. When it comes to situations like this, there are no solutions. You cannot have it all. There are only trade-offs. Look at this clip from Betty Friedan, who wrote The Feminine Mystique.
Are you totally free?
And,
are you totally free though up here?
No. I wish I were. You see, I have days and hours when I feel marvelous and I really enjoy life, and the movement itself and the change that we've made, and women finding their strength to do these things that we didn't think we were capable of doing. We couldn't have dreamed that we had this, that we could change the possibilities of lives for our daughters and for ourselves, and really has changed everybody's life, as I say in the book. But all of this is exulting. It's an exultant feeling sometimes. But I'm not free. I've all full of doubts. I hate going places alone still. So yes. I worry what to wear. I worry what people are going to think of me. I felt awful guilt. So my children can make me feel guilty. I mean,
You can see that the fight, the struggle, the drama of the feminist movement was more gratifying to women than actually getting what they wanted. This interview was in 1977. 47 years later, women are more unhappy, depressed, burned out, and confused, and the list goes on and on. Because her book and the feminist movement were never about acknowledging the biological differences between men and women. It always promoted the idea that women were oppressed by men and needed to be liberated. In 2024, women are more than liberated. There is nothing a woman cannot do, but all roads lead to proof that equality does not make women happy. freedom does not make women happy, because with freedom comes great responsibility. And it's this responsibility that women are more than happy to place on men under the guise of being strong and independent. We are here to tell you it's not our responsibility to solve these problems women created for themselves, especially when it comes at the expense of men. It's not worth it.
Similarly, you have to justify the free time, and you are a little bit judged if, for example, currently your number one priority is to plan a cruise, because why the hell not? In fact, if I was to summarize all of this, you are the one that needs to compromise, because you have literally no excuses to not to.
Exactly. Men figured this out many years ago. If the juice ain't worth the squeeze, why bother? It's these women who can't accept the truth and go online to complain and cry in their cars because they are built differently. They can't settle, they can't compromise because their hypergamous nature doesn't allow it. That's what the feminine mystique is all about. Women wanting more without understanding the compromises and trade-offs they would have to make to achieve that more. It's about seeking greater fulfillment and breaking free from traditional roles, but without a clear understanding of the sacrifices and adjustments required to balance personal ambitions with the realities of life. They lied to these females, saying they could have it all.
Then you always wonder. No matter how happy I am, no matter how fulfilled I am in life, how free I feel, I will always wonder what it's like to have a child. And there are a lot of women out there online who, defend their choices, and rightly so, but it's hard for me to believe that they don't wonder. At the same time, it is hard to admit it because of the entire discord online. You feel like you have to be a bit defensive. But yeah, to summarize, I do wonder.
These women cannot fool us any longer. We already know you're fronting. How in the blue hell can a woman not wonder when her biology keeps reminding her every single freaking month? When it's that time of the month to release one of her limited eggs, she protects herself from bleeding all over the place. This will continue every freaking month until menopause. These Chinese women freeze their eggs to cope with this thought. It's pure cope. Just like how these women act defensively pretending they don't care. This is why we make these videos for men. Men need to know what they want because women are agents of chaos. If you follow a woman's lead, she's gonna lead you to your doom. Don't take my word for it. Look at what these feminists have done. Since the 70s, women in the US and Europe have reported feeling less satisfied with their lives. Why 60 years of feminism hasn't made women happier. As I said earlier, this is not a diss video. I'm just dropping red pill truth bombs. It's not about being a woman. It's about being capable. That's why former Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle got completely destroyed after Trump got shot. She thought she would get a pass for being a woman. She was head of the Secret Service because she is a woman. DEI. Givers need to set limits because takers have none.
And finally, you can be a little bit looked down upon, and it can be ever so subtle. I think it probably stems from the overall perception of somebody like me that their life is a little superficial. And there's nothing anyone can do to really change that perception. Is it true? I don't know. But I do know that having children opens up an emotional, spiritual, human dimension to which the door for me is shut. I can hear the noise behind the door, but I can never enter.
Time waits for no one, and you don't know what you got until it's gone. We keep messing with biology, and it has a detrimental effect on us. Procreation has always been our natural purpose. But in modern society, women, the child bearers, are incentivized to postpone having children in favor of pursuing useless degrees, careers that many won't have, and promiscuity until they face the inevitable wall that knocks them into oblivion. This woman is in her 40s, so her peers are from the having it all generation. They might look down on her because the so-called strong and independent woman was supposed to have children at some point in her life, probably after her career was established, and she found a high value man to maintain her lifestyle. So not having children means not having it all.
I hope I was able to convey what's been kind of mounting for years and years for me. I am not blaming anyone. I am not a victim. I have no agenda or motive. This comparison between the two sides, people with children versus people without children, whether direct or indirect, does exist, and I have experienced it.
She said it herself. She is not a victim. As I mentioned in the previous video, don't feel sorry for women who prioritize their careers and having fun in their prime only to now feel disgruntled about being invisible to the world. They've made their beds and now they have to sleep in them. They want a choice and they've made their choice. That's why I want you to make your choice and make this life count. Discover your purpose and stay focused on it. A man without a purpose is lost, and that's a shame because this life still has so much to offer that is fulfilling. But you have to put in the work. You have to make an effort. Nobody said life was gonna be easy or fair, but I promise you, if you work hard and give it your all, good things will happen. Make sure the juice is worth the squeeze and protect yourself at all times. Man, that's where we working.
This video has officially been highlighted.